Hello beautiful people, it's your scent gourmand, Trina here. Welcome back to my channel and indeed happy holidays if you're celebrating the Christmas season and you're watching it at this time too. And because it's Christmas, I've decided to share with you 5 fragrances from the quintessentially British house of Penhaligons. It's a lovely tin box collection. Check it out. Oh, if I can open it. Oh, there you go. William H. Penhaligon began his fragrance dream way back in the late 1800s. The journey beginning in combination with Barbary. Not aggressive behavior, I mean, but the cutting of hair and beards. According to the website, Penhaligon proceeded to trim the tresses of many of Mayfair's bright young things in 1870. Yes, you can find lots of delightfully light-hearted prose on the website. And much as the branding is not to my taste, I believe it's good to mark it in a way that plays up to your heritage if you have one. Another house that reminds me of this kind of thing is France's Oryza El Legrand. I don't care for that brand image either, but I like their fragrances and I like what they've done revamping the history and all that. The branding with these companies is so on point and so very different from here in Japan, where they try to imitate but are sometimes clueless as to what they're doing. Unsavvy shop owners will sometimes proudly display subtitles below their business names, such as "proudly doing business since 2020. Those always elicit a giggle from yours truly. In any case, this is only the second time I'm talking about Penhaligons here on the channel, although I actually have sampled quite a few of their fragrances over the years. I've reviewed Potion number 9 for women on this channel quite a while back, and sadly I think that fragrance is discontinued. Perhaps you can find it if you're savvy with your hunting skills. And I also had a couple of sets, but for the life of me I can't remember where I put them. I'm sure they're going to pop up somewhere when I do some major household clean. In the meantime, I have this Christmas tin showcasing 3 fragrances in the British Tales collection and 2 more from the Trade Routes collection, and apparently these are some of their top sellers. This particular tin is not from this year, however. I believe it's from 2021. More recently, they've been packaging mini bottle gift sets for Christmas, birthdays, and other gifty type of situations in rectangular paper box packaging, which I assume is less expensive. So let's start with the British Tales fragrances. First in the lineup is Luna, which clearly references a story beyond Britishness. Yes, perhaps Greek and Roman architecture influences that can be found in the UK? I don't know. So Luna is the moon goddess, but this one is not overly feminine, I'd say. It's very soft, cool, and soothing, and it glows with orange, jasmine, soft rose, and fir balsam. This is one to enjoy when you want or need to just chillax. Here are the notes. When I think of the moon, I think of these adjectives: cool, calm, quiet, mysterious, introspective, more yin than yang. What I don't think of is bright, effervescent, and sharp, yet this fragrance has those qualities in addition to the former ones. And of course, the risk with lemony fragrances is that the household cleaner trope rears its head, and surely it will here for some people, and I'm one of them. But happily, the extra lemon serves its purpose when after a few minutes it seeps into the heart notes, which thanks to the juniper and balsam fir are very natural and outdoorsy. Yeah, this one, once you get past the pine sol, you're transported into a forest lit by moonlight on a cool summer night, or it could be a warm autumn or spring night. Anyway, I'm there, and it's been raining for some time, although it stopped. Even though it's not cold enough to see my breath, I feel there might be an ultra-thin layer of ice forming on the few puddles left on the earthy forest bed. And I know there's rose in here, but I think it works best with an opposite note, the impressive bitter orange, to whisper some sort of magic spell into the jasmine and aromatics. This is intriguingly watery, still, and beautiful. I can imagine this one might last a little while, but I doubt it's going to project strongly or widely. It's a discreet perfume, something a ghost would wear. It's nocturnal, it's cold, it's damp, it's transparent, and yeah, it's hauntingly beautiful. It's impressive. I like it. Next we have Elizabethan Rose, which I suspected was going to be a fresh rose composition, and it certainly is, making it really not my cup of tea. Apologies, late Queen E. This is a simple rose creation, unsurprisingly with the flower of English, the Tudor rose, right dead in center, and it was inspired by the coming together of the houses of York and Lancaster. Yeah, it's a light, harmonious union of notes. Here they are. Okay, so Fragrantica calls the rolled centifolia rose, but I know not the difference. But I do know that I get mostly the hazelnuttiness, the rose, whatever kind it is, and the vetiver for the most part, making this blend not uninteresting, to be fair, and rather regal, actually. It's good. I've read that some people get pickle juice in the opening, but I've not had that thought yet, and I like pickles anyway, so I should be all right. It's certainly weird, and therein lies my appreciation. Despite not liking fresh rose fragrances, this is growing on me already. By the way, I have sampled all of these, like I've worn them, but actually this one, not so much. I'm gonna take it out for a spin tomorrow, I think. Yeah, the rose is very authentic and elegant, and the vetiver and hazelnut make it more unisex. And that's interesting to me because fresh rose without agarwood is something I would automatically lean as traditionally feminine. And the rose here is dewy, crisp, and refreshing and pleasing to everyone, really. It's 100% a daytime scent, but that could get lost in the cooler months, I think. But yeah, ultimately I prefer sweet and jammy roses. And apparently there is a discontinued fragrance by the same name from the same house, which smells different, so be forewarned. I think the vintage one is from '84, and this one came out in 2018. And I like the Elizabethan collar on the bottleneck. Touché, Penhaligons. I don't know who the perfumer for this one is, but if you do, please share in the comments. Next up is perfumer Aliénor Massenet's The Favorite. Correctly spelled, by the way. Yes, I am Canadienne. The Favorite, as it turns out, sadly, is not my favorite. This sweeter one was launched in 2020 and inspired by the Mistress of the Robes. And I hear also there was some sort of link to the Duchess, maybe it's the same person, the Duchess of Marlborough for this, but unlikely the current one who's about my age, probably the person before that. I don't know. Comment below if you're English or an Anglophile and you have knowledge to share regarding the inspiration of this scent, because it's interesting. I love the stories behind sensory concoctions. Anyway, the Favorite is supposed to be a fragrance for an emancipated and powerful leading lady. It's a powdery blend of iris, musk, and sandalwood, which I admit, it's not unpleasant. Here are the notes. So this one has ambroxan in it, so it's probably going to last a while, which is good. So the mimosa start is bright, shimmery, and powdery. There's nothing lipsticky about this despite the iris in it. It's fresh, it's powdery, it's clean, and it's floral. There's a faraway faint bubblegum going on. That's the jasmine talking. It gets me thinking of coming-of-age parties for teenagers of the more innocent variety. No emo or grunge or back-talking or black colors. We're talking eyelet frocks, pastel-colored bouquets, and iced tea in plastic glassware on the patio, served by mom, in a garden, in early bloom, with grandma swinging by for hugs and lectures and stuff. It's girls only, no booze, adult supervised. Maybe some board games inside once the light and warmth of the spring sun goes down and the bugs come out. Yes, I have this kind of memory. Christian confirmation of the Norwegian variety. This fragrance is sweet and feminine, yes, but personally I think it's a little too airy and florally sweet to be labeled as sophisticated or powerful or elegant. It's well blended and not syrupy or soapy, so it's not tacky or anything like that. But essentially, I'd associate this one with a very young lady. More of a young lady than a grown-up with political influence, It's a soft fragrance. I think another opinion might be needed here, though, because it's possible that I'm not smelling all the musk, which would give it, a little bit of a dirtier, more adult edge, and just make it, I don't know. It depends on the kind of musk they use, but you know what I mean. I'm a bit asnomic to musk, so there you go. So if you think differently, let me know. There's supposed to be a generous dose of musk in here, which, yeah, it should amp up the umph, if you know what I mean. It's nice, though. And I think this will last a lot longer on some people who do pick up the musk. Okay, enough of the favorite. Now we move on to the Trade Routes, final two from this little gift set. And the first one is a bestseller. I think their top seller, Halfeti. Yes. Okay, yeah. So Halfeti is a woody floral fragrance created by perfumer Christian Provenzano, I believe, and released in 2015. It's a classic oud rose mix with lots of citrus and spices inspired by precious goods traded by Turkey and named after a Turkish town, I think. There's also fruit, herbs, and creamy jasmine in the blend, and it's considered to be a unisex concoction. Here's a more detailed list of the notes. This perfume opens with a blast of different citruses, accompanied by goodies like saffron, cardamom, cypress needles, and something called artemisia. Species included in the artemisia genus are mugwort, wormwood, and sagebrush. Yes, I looked that up. The spicy rose and creamy jasmine come out next, and then gradually you get a sense of all the wonderful olfactory goodness at the base. There's leather, cedar, sandalwood, agarwood, amber musk, tonka, and of course vanilla. I think there's probably cashmerean and javanol in here too. Some modern synthetic compounds that do a fantastic job of expanding, amplifying, and elevating fragrances. This seems like it's a more traditional composition as far as it goes, but despite the apothecary style bottle and tweed little bow at the neck, this fragrance is modern, and may I say, the packaging throughout the Penhaligon's brand is not for me. It's too old-fashioned, really, and particularly in this case, completely obfuscates the juice inside. I would never think something that smells like Halfeti comes in a bottle like what you see here on the screen somewhere. Cognitive dissonance. But the structure is also traditional in a sense, I guess. I feel like I'm being taken along the rose-covered banks of the Euphrates, imagining a much earlier time when aromatic spices, leathers, and opulent silks were being bought and sold. It's an invitation I wouldn't pass up. Even though this is an Eastern blend, I also get the image of like a Christmas tree constructed of rich, dark roses held together with resinous bits of spices and wood, and at the top there's an oversized pine cone. The whole thing is spritzed with citrus. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, this is not original, but amazing. Looking on Fragrantica, I found user Ryan Tramus using these words to describe the fragrance, and I enjoyed the imagery. James Bond breaks into a desert palace, steals the thumb drive, saves the world, and steals the Sultan's prettiest wife. He was wearing this as he drives away in an original Land Cruiser through the desert dunes with a gorgeous woman and a pair of SIG P226 pistols. I have no idea what SIG P22 pistols are, or whether the Sultan's wife and the gorgeous woman are one and the same, but it matters not. You get the gist. And overall, I'd say this is quite a beauty. It's a lovely cedar oud fragrance that lasts long enough while anyway, and it's great for cooler weather, I think. Yeah, this I've only dipped into it a little bit, but I've actually worn it a couple of times, so I do know that it's pretty good in terms of performance. And also, the oud in here is not there to a degree that would put off any anti-agarwood people, and I really like the resinous amber at the base. I also love the spices, the cardamom, cinnamon, tonka, and vanilla. It's great. Yeah, it's perfect for a walk in the woods or a deep curl up in a library setting with a big book on your lap that you can't put down. Like I said, I guess I wouldn't say the only minus point. It's not terribly unique. You know, rose, oud, and saffron mixes have been done a lot. But you know, probably with good reason. And there's good reason that this is a top seller for Penhaligons, I guess. And apparently this bears semblance to another fragrance from the same house called the Blazing Mr. Sam. I've not sniffed that one out yet, but the whole series Mr. Sam belongs to, I think it's the Portraits collection. I haven't sniffed any of those, and they are on my sniff list. Okay, finally we have Empressa. Empressa was launched in 2014, also by the same Christian Provenzano, and was inspired by the precious silks and fine fabrics transported through London to adorn rich women of a certain era. The Penhaligon's website ascribes words of power and influence to these women in lieu of the word rich, which I put here, but let's face it, if those women had said power, it was due to their wealth, or if not, how they made use of any, I don't know, natural beauty they possessed, sexual power, you know? You could argue that times haven't changed that much, but that debate's for a different video and a different channel. This fragrance is the here and now, and its strengths lie in its combination of patchouli, bergamot, and peach. It's a fruit chuli. Here are the notes. So as a fruit chuli, I would say this is the most mainstream of the group, which should not in itself push you away from coughing up for the spendier price tag on this fragrance, but you will be likely able to find something equally delectable for a lower price point, I feel. This one is a fruity floral fragrance. I like it, but it's very sweet and not original. That said, it's well blended. It's soft, rich, and complex, and performs rather well with an overpowering headiness, which does calm down a bit after a few minutes of wear. I haven't worn this that long, but I've worn it a couple of times. Still, if you're susceptible to migraines, I would take care of this one. Okay, so now ranking and overall thoughts. Obviously, Halfeti is my winner. It ain't their best seller for nothing. I'd buy a full bottle of this. I'd unlikely purchase at retail anything else covered here today, though, at least at retail price, right? For reasons twofold. One is that only Halfeti will likely perform at the caliber for which I'm willing to pay higher prices, at least at this juncture of my wallet size. Of course, these are small samples, so I don't know from multiple first-hand experience regarding the performance of all of them in detail, but I have gone through some readings and anecdotes from other people. And the second reason why I would not purchase the others aside from this one is simply that their overall scent profiles are too soft for my personal tastes. I like more oomph and fewer flowers in my frags. What can I say? I like fragrances that challenge me by saying, hey Trina, you think you're gonna wear me? I'm gonna wear you, baby. But, you know, ultimately I have to win, because if the fragrance wears me, it's usually a scrubber. Anyway, back to the ranking. I place Luna, second, because it's really lovely and ethereal once you get past the opening. Elizabethan Rose gets my third place. I respect it for not being what I thought it was going to be, which is boring, despite being what I thought it was going to be, which is a fresh rose. I was torn between Empressa and the favorite, and in the end, I'm putting the favorite above Empressa, because even though Empressa is bright and sparkly, it's got no originality, so the favorite has that going for it. So my lovelies, if you haven't delved into the house of Penhaligons yet, what are you waiting for? I do recommend it. Their fragrances are solid for the most part, classic and regal. Even though they might seem otherwise based on their naming, packaging, and note profiles, there are a lot of clearly unisex pickings on offer. And no doubt there will be those among you who are drawn to the overall stuffy packaging more than I am. Sorry, I'm an Aquarian, Sporting the astrological vibes today, as you will note. Apparently this explains why I tend to lean more modern or unorthodox in my tastes, but each their own, you know? I shall smell you later, my lovelies. See you in the next video. Enjoy your holidays if you're on holiday now. Scent Gourmand, signing out. Bye, nada.